Hi everyone. This is what will hopefully be the first in a series of short tutorial videos on how to use Blogger.com. Blogger.com is my preferred blogging platform, but there are many out there to choose from. It's just the one that I like to use. It's a free blogging platform. It means that they don't charge you in order to use their services. Blogger is through Google. They used to be their own company, but Google bought them out a few years ago. So for better or for worse, it syncs really well with a lot of Google features, such as Google+. That's something that I'll go into a little bit more in a later video. But for right now, I thought it'd be good to start with an overview of what all the buttons are for in Blogger. I'm not going to show you how to sign up for a blog. I think that's something that a lot of people can already figure out how to do on their own. The problems start when they sign on and then they get their address and all of a sudden they realize they don't know what the heck they're doing. So right here, when you first sign on, is your dashboard, is what it's called. These are your blogs right here. Below is a list of all the blogs that you maybe follow. We're not going to get into that right now. So we're going to be focusing on this area right here. This button means that you can start a new blog. That's different from a new blog post. That's if you actually want to start a completely different blog. I have 5 completely different blogs right here. So if you want a new one, this is the button right here. The one we're going to be focusing on today is the non-techie blogging. That's my blog for blogging tips and tricks. Right here, you're going to see some general information about your blog. Right here is the page views. That's your total lifetime page views. That's not just the number of page views you got today or yesterday. This is your total lifetime page views. Right here, they're showing how many posts you've made total. Again, lifetime number right here. And then right here is your number of followers. Now the number of followers on Blogger is kind of deceptive. This is just the number of people following you publicly using Google Reader. If you want to see what it looks like on your blog, you might see these on other blogs. It's this number right here. Some people use Google Reader to follow blogs, but not everyone does. Some people choose to follow by email, or they may subscribe to the Atom feed. We'll go into that later again in another blog video. But that's what that number is. So don't get too bent out of shape if you have a low number of members right here. It doesn't mean that your blog is a complete failure. It's just those people that chose to follow you using Google Reader. So that's what that number means. Right here is create a new post. So if you want to get into that, that's if you just want to start a new blog. That's the easy button. Right here is the post title. Right here is where you write the actual content of the blog. Once you're done, you click publish and you're done. If you want to go back, you click this area, the title of your blog, and so that's your blog homepage. You click right here and that gets you back to the dashboard. Okay, so let's get to this thing right here. This is all of your options as a blogger for this particular blog. So we're going to start at the top of the list here with the overview button. A lot of these buttons, in my opinion, provide you with what I think is kind of redundant information, but it just depends on your style and what you personally end up using a lot. So this right here is your general blogger overview. This is news from Blogger. This is pretty self-explanatory. This was just in your dashboard right here. Followers, posts, page views today, published comments, and then right here is comments waiting moderation. If you have a security setting, that will be under settings, we'll get to in just a second, where you have to approve of a comment before it actually shows up on your blog, that's where this number right here would show up. If you don't have it, so anyone can just post and it instantly appears, you're not going to see any numbers right there. So this particular area I don't really use all that much. This is something that I do use, the posts, getting to the important part. The posts are all the things that you've done so far, your actual writing. So over here are some of the subcategories that you have. These are all your posts that you've done. Published ones, or maybe ones that you haven't yet published, you just have them saved as a draft. You can further narrow these things down. Drafts are posts that you have not yet put on the blog, you've maybe saved for later. I usually make a list right here of just ideas that I come up with, and then, I'll finish actually writing the post at a later date. Scheduled are blogs that you have written, but you have them scheduled to post in the future. Again, I'll get more into how to do this later, but that's what that means. Published are all the blogs that are actually currently showing up on your blog. They're published. Pages are different from your blog posts. Pages are a static element. They're not going to change every time you add a new post. So if you want to see what it looks like on a blog, these right here are your pages. Every blog on Blogger has a default home page, and that's where all your posts are going to appear. You can add things like an about or contact me, whatever it is that you want to add, depending on what kind of information your blog's providing. These are kind of useful just to give people a quick summary of what your blog is all about. So if you want to make one of these things, that's where you put them right here. You can also reorganize the order. I don't use this particular area very much, but I can see how it's useful. What this shows you are all of the recently published comments on your blog, so it's just combining them all so you can just, organize and reply to each of them individually. These are all your spam ones. That's ones that Google decided that wasn't from a real source, so it puts in your spam thing. So if you want to, make sure that people aren't sending to spam, then, you might want to check this area. Stats. This is another really important area for me. Right here is all of your information for the number of views. So today, yesterday, last month, all time. This particular button right here, every time you click on your blog, it will appear as a page view. So if you really like checking your blog, seeing how it's looking 10 times a day, up here it's going to count as 10 views. So if you don't want the blogger to count those page views, you can click Don't Track My Page Views. So that means that on this browser, I'm using Chrome right now, on this browser, on this computer, every time I click on my blog to view it, it's not going to count as a page view. So personally, I like this, but it's totally up to you and your preference. Right here is kind of interesting. This is a lot of good information that you should eventually factor in. Right here are the referring URLs. Now what that means is these are the sites that are sending you traffic. So some of these things, they may be spam sites. That's just sort of what happens from being on the internet. Like PowerCashOnline.com is probably a spam site. But if you look at some of these things right here, like here we go, here's one from Google, and this is from a Google search. So that's probably a good source of traffic. Ideally, what you want is all of these referring URLs to be from actual human beings. But that's impossible, but what you want is at least most of them to be from actual human beings. So right here are this is the link, these are the actual sites where they're sending you traffic, and these are the keywords that people typed in to actually find your blog. Now, this is something to really keep track of because you want people to be looking at your typing in keywords that are related to the content that you're writing. So I'm, writing about blogging tips and tricks, and if people are typing in monkeys and leading to my site, I might have to rethink about what I'm titling my posts. You can organize this now, no traffic there, and then the day, I usually keep it on week, and then the traffic over the course of the month, and all time. So you can see the list changes depending on, how you want to categorize that. Right here are all of your most popular posts right now. This list can change. It's, as you can see from the dates posted, it's not your most recent posts. It's just your most popular ones. If your pages, your static pages are getting any views, then they would show up too. Let's see if it will show up with my all-time. Yeah, see my all-time, I get page views right here. But again, this is just over the course of the week. The audience, this is something, it's nice to look at, but I'm not exactly sure, how relevant it is. Right here it's showing you what countries are sending you traffic, so these are probably the spam sites right here. And then right here is what internet browsers were used to find your site. I'm not really sure if this is, if this could affect you at all, I guess, but if you really want to target a particular audience, that's where you could narrow it down, but it's just nice information to know. Okay, moving on over here. This page are your Google AdSense earnings. Now you have to sign up for Google AdSense if you want to make any money. So this is up to you if you want to do this or not. You'll see a sign up option if you haven't done it. I chose to add ads to my blog, but that's totally a personal choice. It's not by any means required. So if you do, then this shows up. It's going to show you your earnings for the blog. Layout, we'll get into more of this later in another video, but this is where you adjust where everything shows up on your blog. So right here, if you want to look at the blog, oops. Okay, so over here in this corner I have the About Me, a Twitter, and popular posts, and up here on the top is search this blog. So if I wanted to reorganize that, that's where I do this. So if I wanted to have the About Me above the search this blog, you can move all these little boxes around right here. And then once you readjust it to the way you want, you click Save Arrangement. Make sure you click Save Arrangement or it's not going to save the way that you had it all set up. Template is changing the skin of your blog. So that's the overall look. One of the reasons why a lot of people use Blogger is because it's really simple to use as opposed to other blogging platforms. They're a little bit more complex, but it allows you a lot more freedom in how you can make your blog look. So that's up to you what you want to do, but this is where you can adjust that. You can see all the options here, and what this does is you click on it and see it changes the overall look of the blog. See right here? And then click out of that. Let's try one that's a little bit different. So you do this one, see how it changes the theme of the blog. So if you pick one that you like, you can click Apply to Blog. One thing that you should look at is the mobile option. What this does is if you click Yes, Show Mobile Template on smartphones, which is something you should definitely factor in because a lot of people have smartphones these days, if it appears like condensed and more phone friendly, I guess, where it's easier to click on the things, versus if you click no, it's just going to appear as a regular website. So people will probably have to zoom in on their smartphones. So that's up to you what you want to do. Settings. Settings is where you change all of your personal information. So right here, if you really wanted to change your address on the blog, that's where you would do it. This is monitoring your posts and comments. So this is totally up to you how security driven you want to be with your blog. Some people don't mind. Like I don't mind having random people comment on my blog. But if you can change it where only members of this blog are going to comment. So that's up to you and what, how comfortable you are with people commenting on your stuff. So that's where you do that. This is adjusting where you're getting your notifications, language, and other, security options right there. So that's pretty much that thing. If you have anything, like I said, the blog options, that's where you go is the settings. So I hope that was helpful to you. Again, this was just a very brief overview of how to, do the basics of Blogger. I do plan on making other videos that will go more in depth into different features, such as adding widgets. I would love if you come and check out my site. It's called Non-Techie Blogging at blogspot.com for blogging tips and tricks. Thank you so much.